Hello everyone, Zep Thunderbolt here. I am a P47 VTuber, and I would say I'm run of the mill, but as far as I know, I'm the only one. But today we're gonna be rambling, and that's kind of been where I've been wanting to go with my content, rambling about whatever's on my mind, whatever that might be that silly things, video games, or people, how people do things in the world in of the interwebs, and that kind of starts off with I have felt increasingly like disappointed and almost annoyed. No longer like angry with how hateful, how snappy and how quick people are on social media, on chat of streamers, wherever it may be. Just like pretty much every facet of the internet at this point feels so saturated with people willing to jump out at you, willing to immediately assume the worst, assume everything that about you is horrible and terrible and evil based off of one single thing. Is that admittedly, are there going to be cases where you say something deservedly terrible where you're like, hey, where people are like, hey, maybe don't say that? Yes, absolutely. Is it productive to start wailing on each other all the time? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I think a lot of people who don't deserve it, who have pretty much said nothing a lot of the time, and even the people who have said something either get misinterpreted or their words are, it's almost twisted by the person reading them, that then becomes so inflamed and angry by this that it becomes their life mission to see them destroyed, for lack of a better term. And it's such a vacuum, a box of uncreative, uninspired, just repeated hate slop. And yes, slop is overused, but it is hate slop. It's the bottom of the barrel type insults that are either throwing a slur at someone or wishing upon them the end of their continuity of existence. I'm sure you know what I mean by that, but YouTube will smite me from the heavens. And either way, I don't want to really get into the heavier side of what's going on in the world, even though that very much contributes to how people are feeling now. It is important in my head that I ramble on a people level, on a human being level, almost. Even if that's a bit rich coming from me, judging by what's on screen. But what I'm saying is that I want to speak from a point of like, hey, I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be mad all the time. I don't want to hate people. That kind of sucks. It feels bad to keep hating and keep being angry at some point, and I think as much as I felt like, oh, who's gonna care about a random plane on the internet rambling about how people are mean and harsh on the internet. And that's kind of where I realized I don't see enough of that. I really don't see enough of that. And even if even if I don't attract a large audience, for those of you who are watching this, hi, hello, welcome. I'm happy to ramble, and thank you for watching the video. Most importantly, I'm glad I'm interesting enough to to warrant your attention and to deserve your attention from your day, from whatever you might be doing, whatever projects you might be making, or maybe you're at work, maybe you're ironing clothes, all sorts of stuff. But I'm very thankful that you have come to listen to the open this discussion for people. What a stutter there, but I really do want to hear people's comments, hear people's thoughts, their experiences, maybe how it's affected you, as I said, or maybe a family member or a friend, anyone really who was affected by this, either in a minor way, in a major way. Maybe they've been absolutely chased off the internet, which is a very under-discussed topic, because people will love to boil it down to, cyberbullying isn't real, just close the computer. And, while some people might be able to do that, that is not always the case. There are times where it crosses a barrier that you can no longer really escape. And even then, it's not productive to say that. It's absolutely not productive, and I don't want to really focus on that. I want to focus on the bigger picture, either because it makes you feel very small in a world where you already are minuscule, and I don't think that makes you feel any better about it. I want to talk on a people level, on a hey, maybe we don't want to feel angry all the time level, and I do want to invite that discussion on a just civilized, very calm, very hey, this all very much sucks type ground. And that's really all there is to it. I don't really have much more to say. I mean, I could release a video talking about every little detail, every nitty-gritty like thought in my head about what I feel about how these chat messages, how these harsh comments and sometimes harassers, you know, go, you know, the length they go to just ruin people sometimes even, and you know, is that deserved sometimes. I'm not here to argue that. I'm here to say there's a lot of people who aren't deserving of total and utter destruction of their social life or their sense of safety, and that's where I'm at. And I hope to see you guys in the comments to see where you're at on that. And you know, if you like the content, I will see you in another rambling video.